Hey everyone, welcome to our kind of midweek preview of this Sunday's adult Sunday school class. We want to look at chapter 3 this week, Discerning the Gods, and uh, write notes that one aspect of the church's mission is to engage, expose, and unmask idolatry within the world and within our own hearts. And in this chapter, we're going to look at sort of three different things. One is to recognize a crucial distinction that's going on with idolatry. Second, we're going to name the gods. What are the things that we make gods from? What things drive us to worship idols and make idols? And then finally, we're going to talk about exposing the gods. What damage do they do? Why are they bad for us? And so let's begin. First of all, we need to make a crucial distinction, and this is probably the most profound theological distinction in Christian theology, and that is a distinction between the creator and the creature. The sin of our first parents was one of seeking moral autonomy from God. They wanted to undermine that creator-creature distinction. The thing is that we are always dependent upon God. We exist only and always as creatures, never autonomous from God. Whereas God, he does not need us. He is perfectly fine in his self-existence. And when we try to act like God in that way, then things get completely turned over. And in idolatry, we do that, and it becomes an attempt to limit, reduce, or control God. And so, what we see throughout the scriptures, really, if we summarize it, is that the mission of God in redemption is to restore all creation to what it was intended to be. God's creation, ruled over by a redeemed humanity, giving glory and praise to the Creator. Next, we need to name the gods. As we saw last week, the Bible often portrays idolatry as a human construct. And so the question is, from what then do we often construct idols? And the first thing is that we make idols from the things that entice us. In Psalm 96, verses 5 and 6, we read, "For all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Splendor and majesty are before him. Strength and glory are in his sanctuary." We are often attracted to things that evoke splendor, majesty, strength, and glory. We'll talk about some modern examples of this, write notes, a few modern examples, so maybe be prepared to talk about them. Next, we also make gods from the things that we fear. In Psalm 34, we read, "I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. Fear the Lord, you holy people, for those who fear him lack nothing." Sadly, we turn things that we fear into gods in order to placate them or to ward them off by our worship. And again, we'll talk about some modern examples next time. Third, we also make idols from the things that we trust. Often to soothe our fears, we place our ultimate trust in the false promises of the things that cannot save. And so we read in Psalm 33, "No king is saved by the size of his army. No warrior escapes by his great strength. A horse is a vain hope for deliverance. Despite all its great strength, it cannot save. We wait and hope for the Lord. He is our help and shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. May your unfailing love be with us, Lord, even as we put our hope in you." Next, we also make gods from the things that we need. Like all other creatures, we need things to survive. We need food, water, shelter. We need the love of other people. And we can turn the sources of those things into idols. And we'll have a chance to look at Deuteronomy chapter 8 that kind of exposes some of that and talk about some modern examples. So the summary of the first half of this chapter would be something like this that Wright gives. First, we have having alienated ourselves from the living God, our Creator, we have a tendency to worship whatever makes us tremble, with awe as we feel our tiny insignificance in comparison with the great magnitudes that surround us. Next, we seek to placate and ward off whatever makes us feel vulnerable and afraid. Third, we counter our fears by investing inordinate and idolatrous trust in whatever we think will give us the ultimate security that we crave. And then we struggle to manipulate and persuade whatever we believe will provide all our basic needs and enable us to prosper on the planet. Next, we need to expose the gods. Why are they wrong? Why are they damaging to us? And why should we flee them? Well, there's three things he wants to look at here too. First, idols deprive God of his proper glory. When human beings attribute to other gods the gifts, the powers, or functions that belong to the one living God, then God is deprived of the honor that is due his name. Isaiah 42:8 says, I am the Lord, that is my name. I will not yield my glory to another or my praise to idols. Furthermore, idols distort the image of God in human beings. In Isaiah 44:13, we read, he shaped it. This is speaking about someone who's making an idol. He shaped it in human form in all its glory, that it may dwell in a shrine. So here, even the idol itself is a diminished representation of the glory that is human. And since idolatry diminishes the glory of God, and since humans are made in the image of God, it follows that idolatry is also detrimental to the very essence of our humanity. Finally, we also see that idols are profoundly disappointing. In Jeremiah 2, we read in verses 11 to 13, has a nation ever changed its gods? Yet they are not gods at all. But my people have exchanged their glorious God for worthless idols. Be appalled at this, you heavens, and shudder with great horror, declares the Lord. My people have committed two sins. They have forsaken me, the springs of living water, and have dug their own cisterns, broken cisterns that cannot hold water. The worship of false gods is the fellowship of futility, the grand delusion whose only destiny is disappointment. Well, that's our summary of the third chapter, and I hope to see you on Sunday so we can talk about it. And I'll sign off and see you then.